So now this time he's got a pretty sizable force there. I decide, okay, let's do this. The Mutalisks go in first. I should have led with the Zerglings. But then the Zerglings come in, and these guys are more of a distraction than anything. Trying to draw my enemy's fire away from my Mutalisks, as those Mutalisks continue to tear up what they have left. And he's got a bunch of Zealots out there. Those Zealots are going to kill my Zerglings, but it's okay. I've pretty much taken out all their anti-air, so these Mutalisks are in the base. Now, the base is undefended. Card's also got some Dark Templars in there. And it's finally time to do some damage. Reinforcements coming in, more Zerglings, more Mutalisks. Now, I decide, okay, it's time to take out the main base. The main base is gonna go down. They bring in some of the reinforcements of their own, but at this point my air force is just too much, it's just too large, and we're gonna be able to take out his forces and continue the fight. He's going to hatch in some more reinforcements, but he's not going to manage them effectively, and I'm able to destroy most of them before they even are able to turn and attack. And I decide it's time to turn and take down that Hydralisk den. I don't want him producing any more Hydralisks to attack my Mutalisks. And at this point, since we've cleared the Zerg base, and cleared the debris up here, this little platform turns into a nice rallying point for me and Card's forces, and we're able to send more and more troops up here and just rally at this perfect spot. And now the Zerg player is dead. After harassing us for so long with his goddamn roaches, his goddamn Zerglings, it was incredibly satisfying to see his base destroyed. Card is trying to do some damage with his own smaller force. He's now at this point starting to get back on his feet. And I noticed that these guys are fighting each other. And I brought up my air force a little bit too late. Unfortunately, Card loses all his forces. But now I decide, okay, nothing left to do. I'm going to start destroying his overlords. Just to be a giant prick. But the Zerg player's base is destroyed, which puts us now, the tables have turned at this point and puts us in a significant advantage. Fortunately, Card sees that he's trying to expand. And at this point, we've punched each other out. Now we're trying to decide what our next big move is, because the purple Protoss still has a giant force out on the field. Still got a pretty sizable and threatening force. And at this point, I'm starting to run out of resources. And he's going to lead a counterattack. Take out most of Card's defense force here. And I decide, okay, it's time to rally the troops, because we're going to need to defend against this attack. So I'm gathering up the Mutalisk Horde, beginning to replenish and reinforce. Right now I got more Zerglings out. The Zergling core is being rebuilt. But the purple Protoss is coming in. He sees that I'm trying to expand here. He's going to take out that base. I come in, I destroy this Overseer because that's the only detection that they have, and quickly fly off. And at this point, I think he must be deciding whether or not to continue or press on without his detection. But he presses on. And he sees a bunch of zealots coming in after him, and then he decides he's going to retreat after that. He's not going to fight this fight, and the Dark Templars chase him away. And a nice move by him, he's able to block out those Dark Templars from attacking. So now, it's another kind of stalemate. We see that the Zerg player is continually trying to expand. We didn't notice this base that he had until much later. Keeps trying to you know, rebuild himself. And here is what I was talking about earlier. I was talking about how I did this very often as the Protoss, where I would take a warp prism and start warping in Dark Templars behind enemy lines. He takes out those probe lines. I'm going to bring in the Mutalisks for support, and we're going to tear down this Nexus, which is going to do significant damage to his economy, considering that that's the only patch that he's resourcing from. And there's still one Dark Templar out there attacking. And they're going to pull back. He's trying to warp in another Overseer. And unfortunately for this hero Dark Templar, it's pretty much all over for him once that Overseer comes out. And there he goes. Oh, very sad. So again, I'm rallying my troops on this nice little platform that we created for ourselves. Also, because, like I said, I was beginning to run out of places to harvest from. It was time for me to expand. Unfortunately, I was able to expand there without too much trouble. And his force is going to come out. So it's time to lead yet another attack on us. But at this point, I had my Mutalisk in a much better position, so I'm going to counterattack his base and start destroying everything. I'm going to easily take out those cannons. Also going to take out his cybernetics core, because that's going to take out his ability to produce stalkers. He's not going to be able to get it's going to slow down his reinforcement train considerably at this point. And his stalkers are going to come in and try and take us out. So I pretty much destroyed his entire base at the cost of about 2 Mutalisks. Not going to be able to kill a single Mutalisk in that retreat, which was awesome. So now these guys are in a rough way. Tables have significantly turned on them from a beautiful looking start. And now at this point things are looking grim. Also getting my drones out to the next mineral patch. So I'll have enough reinforcement to continue on the fight. And at this point, Card has reinforced his troops. He's in full swing now. And we finally noticed this expansion here with Card's single Dark Templar. And he's going to be able to take out that Spire before he's able to do anything. But it's not important, because another decisive battle is imminent. Also, TL Zerg had out some Corruptors. I'm able to take those out. I send in the Zerglings from behind as a distraction. Unfortunately, Card has Immortals, which is perfect counters to those stalkers. Here comes the Mutalisks, and it's all over. It's been destroyed, and also, Corruptors are not very effective counters against Mutalisks. Mutalisk will still pretty much destroy Corruptors. They attack twice. They attack slower, and they have a little bit more damage. But they attack slower, and well-grouped Mutalisk will still take Corruptors out fairly easily. And now it's time to take out his base yet again. And also begin our final siege. But Taku's going to send out his last Zealot force in another counterattack. I say, hey, let's get those guys. They're going to try and run away desperately. Also continue to have Mutas destroy his main base. But the Zergling force is going to come in and surround these Zealots, and it's all over. And they received terrible damage. Because, you know, sometimes just 2 terribles isn't enough. Now it's time for the final siege at this point. The moment that we have been fighting for 40 minutes. Or which actually translates to probably half an hour in real time. But we climbed so far up this hill to finally get to this moment, to this final encounter. And teach those guys a lesson for, you know, thinking they could break us. So here we go. I'm going to send in the Zerglings. Now, at this point, they've been upgraded with their speed attack. They've been upgraded with their move speed. And they are a dangerous force. They are a force to be reckoned with at this point. Mainly because the enemy just went almost exclusively Stalkers. And Zerglings are just a beautiful counter to Stalkers. And they're going to put up a valiant last defense. And they do everything they can to try and stop us. But at this point, I think they must know that it's over. And if I were them, I would be really pissed off. Like, I would be sitting myself like, I could not believe that we lost that battle. So we're all in the base. The Zerglings, the Mutalisks, the Immortals, the Zealots. Everyone's in the base. Tearing down their last photon cannon defenses. And it's about over at this point. I think they're going to concede defeat pretty quickly. And done. So I seriously hope you guys enjoyed that. That was one of again, another one of my favorite matches. I always love the matches where things look grim at the beginning, but you claw back up only to claim victory. So this is going to be JosefVStalin signing off for now. But before I go, if you got any cool Starcraft replays to send to show me, please send them over to me. You know, I always seem to play a certain way, and I think it would be cool to get more people showing off, you know, more strategies. So if you got a cool replay, I'd love to see it. Still looking through some of your replays. Got a nice queue set up. But anyway, you guys take care.